Eunish and the Breakawaysh. Eunish missed the milk train, but she did like to show off how strong she was. No matter how long and how heavy her goods trains were, she dragged them along the main line with ease. When the rain came, the other engine's wheels often slipped on the wet rails. They had to use their sanding gear to grip the rails. But Eunish was so long and had so many wheels, she didn't often need her sanding gear. "You lot ought to get longer tenders like me," she would say. The other engines weren't used to her being so talkative since she got her smoke deflectors. Ever since she'd made the headlines for helping catch a thief, she didn't care so much that people and engines were looking at her, and became more gossipy than ever. "I heard," said Henry crossly one day, "that you had to go back to the dock station that night because you left some of your trucks behind. How strong can you be if you want to lighten your load?" "Shut up, Henry," sniffed Eunice. "It's your fault I got these deflectors in the first place and had to prove that I'm still worthy. What would you know about strength?" "I was strong enough to pull the express," retorted Henry. "With Edward's help." "He needed my help." "Says you," chuckled Eunice. "If you tried to pull a train a quarter of the length I have to every day, you'd break down and burst." One damp morning, Brooke brought a line of trucks to the goods platform at the big station. Eunice backed down onto the train. "Want a push?" asked Brooke. "No thank you," Eunice smirked. "I don't need help. I'm the strongest engine on the line." The shunter fastened the coupling, Lizzie blew her whistle, and Eunice snorted out of the station. The trucks clattered and banged behind her. It began to rain. Eunice carried on along the main line with no trouble at all. By the time Eunice had brought her trucks to the station before Gordon's Hill, it was pouring rain. "We'll need to use your sanding gear to get us up the hill," said Charlie. "Rubbish," snorted Eunice. "What would the others say?" Charlie ignored Eunice and turned on her sanding gear as soon as they reached the foot of the hill. Eunice huffed and puffed with all her might, and soon reached the top without any wheel slip. "Wait, Eunice, wait!" called Charlie, but Eunice was going so fast that she rolled over the top of the hill. Her trucks began to follow her. Abandoning the sanding gear, Charlie reached for the brake handle. There was a jerk and a snap. A coupling parted as the train crawled over the hill. The rear of Eunice's trucks were chasing them down the slope. "Hurry, Eunice, hurry!" cried Charlie, releasing the brakes. "We've got to keep ahead of them or they'll throw us off the rails." Eunice pounded along the steep line. The trucks clattered and roared and bounced behind her. "Scragger! Scragger!" they yelled. Eunice puffed with all her might. The remaining trucks were still very heavy, but she managed to keep ahead of the breakaways. Gradually, the runaway truck slowed. Judging his timing, Charlie slowly closed Eunice's regulator. The gap between the trucks eventually closed. There was a sharp bump. Before they reached the next station, Eunice's brakes stopped the runaway. She'd climbed down to have a look at the place where the coupling had parted. Lizzie came along as well. They soon found the divide, and saw that no damage had been done. "Well done, Eunice," said Charlie. "Your strong brakes stopped the runaways." "Of course," boasted Eunice. "No train is too long and heavy for me to handle." Soon Sue climbed back aboard, Lizzie blew a whistle, and they were on their way again. It wasn't long before they reached the next station. Henry was there. He saw Eunice arrive with her goods train, and laughed. "Couldn't handle that many trucks in this rain, eh?" he chortled. The station master ran up. "You've only brought half your train!" Eunice's face went red. She and her crew realized that neither Sid nor Lizzie had stopped in the pouring rain to recouple the breakaways.